All right, they're good looking out. I'll drink to that. Take a shot of my water right here.
Daniel Barker.
No, we need that.
We're live.
Hey, Mr. Barker, give me 1 second just to make sure I've got the correct file. Hello, everyone, by the way.
Hello, Judge. Your
All
right, Mr. Barker, we're seeing you on a couple of different matters this evening. It looks like you've got some cases out of Tucson City Court. It looks like you've also got some new charges in Pima County Justice Court. So we'll start with the Justice Court one. But first, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. I also need to advise you that you have the right to appear at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to show to court, those hearings will happen without you and a warrant can issue for your arrest. Now, in the event you are convicted, if you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction because of your failure to appear, you can also lose your right to a direct appeal. So starting with your Justice Court matter, looks like there you've got misdemeanor charges of threats and intimidation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Highly appreciate that.
And in your Tucson City Court matter, looks like you were on probation and a petition to revoke was filed.
Aware of that.
That's in Tucson City Court, sir.
I heard I'll speak with my lawyer in regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right, and if you're here for the deaf lady, she has not
So, sir, what I'm going to order in your Justice Court case, I am going to hold you on a $500 cash or secured bond. I'm also going to appoint Jill Gukin to represent you.
Y'all be staying. Better pack up your lunch. What's up, Leslie?
As conditions of your release, if you post your bond in that case, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences or workplaces. Your next court date for that matter will be tomorrow at 1 in the afternoon over at Justice Court in front of Judge Foster. If you are still in custody tomorrow, then the jail will take care of making sure you are able to make it to that hearing. Now, in your city court matters, it looks like the original charges involved allegations of domestic violence, assault, criminal damage, and disorderly conduct. And a petition to revoke your probation was filed, looks back in October of 2023. And it looks like you were placed on unsupervised probation for a period of 36 months. And the allegations contained in the petition indicate that you failed to submit proof of your DV counseling and alcohol treatment counseling. So, sir, what I'm going to do in your city court matters is I am going to enter denials as to the allegations in the petition. I'm going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond in that case as well. As conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to commit any acts of domestic violence. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim or the victim's residence or workplace. And your next court date for your city court matter, if you are still in custody on February 7th, the jail will transport you for a video review hearing, kind of what you're having now. If you bond out of custody, then you need to make sure you go to Tucson City Court on February the 18th, 2025 at 2 in the afternoon. If you fail to show to court, once again, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Every detail.
Good, sir. So that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Up next on The Price is Wrong. Let's see what's behind door number 2.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Ricky Amacio Gamboa.
Okay, sir. Give me 1 second to find your file.
Here, let's see. Let's find this file. Hey, shout out to everybody. Really appreciate you guys tuning in for the late night roll call. And if you haven't done so, please do so. Tap, tap, tap.
All
Because
right,
if you're
so
not
we're
tapping,
seeing you this evening on it looks like a Pima County Justice Court matter involving allegations of misdemeanor level domestic violence, disorderly conduct. Sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense.
Okay.
Just give me 1 second. I want to double check your pretrial services report here.
wow, man. Drop one, flush one. Man, today we're starting off to a bad start today.
All right, sir,
Jesus.
my inclination in this case is to release you on your promise to appear. If I do that, will you make a court date I give you in March?
Yes.
All right, sir, I am going to release you on your own recognizance. You will need to appear in Pima County Justice Court on March the 11th, and that will be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that will
Okay.
be for a DV review hearing with Judge Foster. As conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons. I'm also going to order that you not have any contact with any alleged victims or their residences or workplaces. And sir, it looks like your attorney is Carlos Betancourt Morales. So your paperwork will have his contact information in case you need it. Sir, you need to make sure you make that court date in March. If you don't, a warrant's going to issue. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do.
Right, that's all for this evening, sir. You're excused.
Hey, Elizabeth, man, don't be saying that. I almost spit the water out of my mouth right now. Ay. Next on The Price is Wrong, Listy was
Hello,
behind
can I
door
get your
number
name?
3.
Ruben Lerma.
What up, Smash? Thank you for the like. Hey, tap.
All right, sir, we are seeing you this evening on a warrant that issued out of Ajo Justice Court. And in that case, it looks like there was an allegation of your failure to comply with a court order. It's alleged to be domestic violence. It is a misdemeanor charge. Sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. It looks like the warrant in this case was issued back in March of 2021. So, sir, what I'm going to do this evening is I am going to order that you be held on a bond. The warrant is requesting a $1,000 bond. I am going to hold you on $500 cash or secured. If you post that bond, you need to make sure that you make a court date that I'm going to give you here in a moment. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. There you go.
Wow. Man, this is the 3P right here, man. This is like...
I'm going to appoint Jill Gukin to represent you, and you'll get paperwork that has her contact information on it. As conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, and possess no firearms or weapons. Your court date is going to be February the 4th at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you bond out of custody between now and then, you need to make sure you get down to Ajo Justice Court. Your paperwork will have the address for the courthouse. If you don't appear, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
We're going to go ahead and do another flush for good measure, just to be safe. Hey, saludos, CW Los. Next. No, don't tell me. This
Good evening. Can I get your name?
Andrea Bernadette Ramirez.
Come on, be a petty theft, a user, a thief,
All
something.
right, Ms. Ramirez, we're seeing you on a few different matters tonight. It looks like you've got some cases pending in Tucson City Court. You also have another case pending in Pima County Justice Court. So we're going to start with the Justice Court case first and then handle the other one. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You do have the right to be present at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then those hearings will happen without you and a warrant will issue for your arrest. Now, if you are convicted and cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction, you can also lose your right to a direct appeal. So in your Justice Court matter, The original charges involved allegations of false reporting
Okay.
and failure to provide information at an accident. Looks like a warrant was issued in May of last year. So, ma'am, I am going to hold you on the amount requested in the warrant, which is the $50 cash amount. As conditions of your release in that case, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to commit any acts of domestic violence.
What? Another one?
And you're not to have any contact with any alleged victims,
Ching Gators.
their residences, or their workplaces. Your next court date in that case is going to be tomorrow, the 29th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That will be at Justice Court with Judge Foster. If you bond out of custody, then you need to make sure you make that court date. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, now in your city court matters,
City court. I don't know what to think about this whole situation here. I'm just at a loss of words.
looks like you have 4 open cases involving charges of domestic violence assault, domestic violence disorderly conduct. And those look like they are all alleged to have occurred within 2025. So, ma'am, again, those same rights I mentioned before, those also apply to you in this case. I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm going to order that you be held on a $250 cash or secured bond. I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons. You're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. I'm also going to enter not guilties on your behalf for all of these charges.
Not guilty. What up, Tabby? Welcome, welcome, welcome. My cousin Andres the same way, Mexican guru. Ay, ay, ay. Squidward, is that you? Writes, bless this Jess. Hey, thank you. Hey, remember, if you're not tapping, you must be napping. Today, we're going to be doing a double session. We're going to be doing Pima County, and then we're going to be moving on to Maricopa County. So hold on, because we're going to be on for the long ride today. Make sure you bring some Zoom Zooms, some Wham Whams, some Cinnabons, the Robin Top noodles. Bring it all. Yes, I am, Diamond Girl. Yes, I am.
Your next court date in your city court matter is going to be
What time is
February
it for
the
you?
7th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon.
6:13 p.m. Pacific
And
Standard.
that will be a video review hearing if you are still in custody. If you bond out of custody, then your court date is going to be February the 28th, 2025 at 9:30 in the morning.
Gracias.
And that will be with Judge Cranshaw over at Tucson City Court. You'll get paperwork for all of your court hearings with all of this information. Now, I do want to go back to your Justice Court matter for 1 second. And in that case, I am also going to appoint an attorney to represent you there.
We're waiting right now. We're
And
waiting.
I'm going to appoint Douglas Taylor. So you'll get paperwork that has his contact information on it. So make sure you give him a call.
Pima's at 6. Maricopa's at 7. Yes, I am, and I am on white tea. I'm doing
All right,
a double
ma'am.
stream.
So you will get paperwork for all of your court hearings with the information that you need. Make sure you make those hearings or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for this evening, ma'am. You're excused.
Next. Okay, so that's 4 already. That's 4 DV cases. So this is officially going to be DV Tuesday, if you will. Next on The Price is Wrong. Let's see. What do you think this individual is here for? This
Hello,
baldy
sir.
Lex?
Can I get your name?
Good evening, Your Honor. My name is Benjamin Francis Smith, Sr.
Thank you.
All right, sir. We're seeing you this evening on some charges out of, looks like Marana City Court
Yes, ma'am.
involving Misdemeanor allegations of disorderly conduct and assault with injury. Both are alleged to be domestic violence offenses.
Chingators.
So,
I
sir, you
celebrate
do
too
have
early.
the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You do have to be present at any and all court proceedings, and however, if you fail to show for court, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings will go forward without you. Sir, my inclination is to release you on your promise to appear. If I do that, will you make a court date in late February?
I will, yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, I'm going to give you a court date of February the 26th at 10 o'clock in the morning. That will be over at Marana City Court. You'll get paperwork with all of the information. I am going to release you on your promise to appear.
Hey, Sierra, I don't remember what I did 15 minutes ago, let alone what I did yesterday. So I don't know if this is the same judge. I wish I could
Oh,
help
sir,
you.
based on the information we have from pretrial services, it looks like they were able to speak with the victim in this case, your wife, Shamari Smith, and she has indicated that at this point she is not willing to have contact with you and you are not welcome to return to the residence. So, sir, what I am going to order is that you not have any contact with Ms. Smith, her residence, or her workplace. However, I will check a box on your paperwork allowing you to return to your home one time with police escort to gather your possessions. As further conditions of your release, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, you're not to commit any acts of domestic violence, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons. So once again, make sure you make that court date on February 26th. If you don't show for court, a warrant will issue. Do you understand?
I do, yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Hey, thank you for the follow. Hey, remember, hey, if you're here, please follow. It's free 99. Doesn't cost you anything. Don't be a Krabby Patty. Don't be an Uncle Scrooge. Don't be a tacaño. Don't be a tight ass, if you will. Hit that follow. It's free 99.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
No, not yet. Not yet. You're here for
Hello,
the
Your Honor.
time.
My name is Paris Enterline.
Paris. Or Harris. What do you guys think this guy's here for? Harris or Paris?
All right, sir, we're seeing you this evening on a case out of Tucson City Court. It looks like you picked up some new charges involving misdemeanor allegations of assault and disorderly conduct.
Okay.
Those
so-
are alleged to be, as I mentioned, domestic violence offenses. Sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. You'll get paperwork that has their contact information on it.
Your Honor, I paid a lawyer or an attorney. Suzuki Law Offices.
Okay. So what I'm going to do for now, sir, is I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office. Once your attorney files a formal notice with Tucson City Court, they can take over representation. So he should be able to get that done fairly quickly. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to appear for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to show, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings will move forward without you. Now, in the event that you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, then you will lose your right to a direct appeal. What I'm going to do this evening, sir, is I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf to the charges. I am going to order that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond. I do see that you don't have much of a history. However, I am concerned because it looks like there's an outstanding order of protection that you need to also comply with. As conditions of your release, if you post that bond, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, commit no acts of domestic violence, and I'm going to order that you not have any contact with the victim in this case, and that is Haley Kalski. You're also not to have any contact with her residence or her workplace. Your next court date is going to be in Tucson City Court on February the 5th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon, and that will be regardless of whether or not you're in or out of custody. And that will be at Tucson City Court with Judge Million. Now, if you bond out of custody, sir, you need to make sure you make those court dates, or like I mentioned, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
I don't think so.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for this evening, sir. You're excused.
Hey, I don't know. I'm not a professional here, but we might have to use Pima County as a case study of why these cases are through the roof here. I'm gonna have to do some research on Google. I'm gonna have to check my Twitter fingers.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Keith Abraham.
What do you guys think this fine gentleman is here for? Emojis preferably. Wrong answers are liked.
All right, sir, we are seeing you this evening on a few
Drop
different
your
matters.
comment.
It looks like you have 3 cases pending out of Tucson City Court. You also have some new felony charges. And those felony charges involve allegations of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and reckless display of a weapon.
Okay. All right. Oh, I could handle that. I could handle that.
So, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. And in this case, I'm going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. You have counsel seated beside you if you need any assistance during this evening's hearing. So, sir, we're going to talk about release conditions in this case. Now, I have read everything presented to me. That includes the pretrial services workup, the interim complaint,
Arizona.
as well as the state's recommendation. I see that the state is recommending a $25,000 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Gant, did you have anything you wish to add?
Your Honor, good evening. I'll just submit on my written explanation. Thank you.
Thank you. And Madam Defense Counsel, I'm sorry, I forget your name.
Kelly, Your Honor. So he's lived in Tucson for 8 years, and he has ties to the community. He's currently employed. Pretrial services spoke to a friend who said that he can provide housing, transportation to court. Also, he has no prior felony convictions. So I'd ask the court set the bond at $7,500.
Hey, I don't like that he has his
I'm
hand-
not going to be able to do that either.
I don't like that he has his arms folded. He's hiding something.
And sorry, I just want to double check something with your Tucson City cases.
He's definitely hiding something. What do you guys think he's hiding? He's hiding something. Very deceptive.
All right,
here.
sir, I am going to hold you on the $7,500 cash or secured bond. If you post that bond, you will be supervised by pretrial services. You'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, have no contact with the alleged victim, and not have any contact with the victim's residence or the workplace or the incident location. Your next court date in this felony case is going to be February the 7th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. That will be a preliminary hearing.
Sorry, no tortilla. Pedro.
Now, it looks like you also have, in addition to the city court matters I mentioned, you also have a pending justice court case. And in that case, you were charged with misdemeanor assault. So, sir, those rights I mentioned before, those also apply to this case. I am going to appoint Doug Taylor to represent you. And in this case, I am going to hold you on a $250 cash or secured bond so that you get time credit. As conditions, if you post bond in this case, you are not to possess any firearms or weapons, not possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs, have no contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. And your court date is going to be tomorrow, January 29th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon over at Justice Court with Judge Foster. And the jail will take care of making sure that you're able to make that court appearance.
On YT, I got 2 streams. I got Connecticut and I got this
Sir,
one.
please do not use that language.
What did he say? Damn. I was
Now, sir,
talking.
you also have city court matters. You have 3 open cases where you have been charged with multiple counts of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, disorderly conduct, as well as failures to appear. So in addition to those rights I mentioned before, you also have a right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings will go forward without you. If you are convicted in your absence and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction, then you will lose your right to a direct appeal. I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf.
He ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna have to do the playback later on once the stream is done. But he's
And in
definitely.
this case as well, sir, I'm going to order that you be held on a $250 cash bond. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You are not to return to any of the alleged incident locations, and you're not to have any contact with any alleged victims. Your next court date, if you are in custody, is going to be February the 7th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody, your court date is going to be February the 26th, 2025 at 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, sir, you need to make sure you make those court dates Because if you don't make those court dates, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Thank you for the follow.
Yep.
All right, sir, you're excused.
He ain't going nowhere. Anyhow, yeah, so for those of you who are asking, I do have a double stream going on YT. I have a parole board hearing, and I got this one. You got to hit the live button or the live tab, and then you're going to see 2 lives. You want to make sure you hit Arizona, if you will. If you just hit my icon, it's going to take you to the Connecticut one most
Hello,
likely.
sir. Give me 1 moment, please.
Let's see what this young fella
Sir, can I get your name?
is here for.
Oh, I think we're muted.
My name is Sir Asheville Kunsan. I'm a knight and a scout, a Cub Scout.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
What was your last name again, sir?
Contreras son. CONTRERASSAN.
I hate
All right,
it.
sir. So we're seeing you this evening because you've got some charges out of Tucson City Court. They're new charges. The arrest date looks like you were just picked up. Looks like you were picked up earlier today. So, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And I've neglected to mention the charges you're facing involve allegations of disorderly conduct. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You do have a right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings will happen without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction, you will lose your right to a direct appeal. I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf to the listed charge. I've reviewed your history, sir, and I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. If I do that, will you make a court date I give you in February?
Yeah, sure.
So, sir, your court date is going to be February the 25th, 2025 at 9:30 in the morning. That will be at Tucson City Court with Judge Mayhew. As conditions of your release, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. Now, sir, if you don't make that court date on February 25th, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, sir, you're excused.
All right. So these people, I'm not sure how long they've been sitting in jail for, but yeah, here everybody that comes on, they have a uniform. The other court, Maricopa County, they come in on the street clothes, and then once they're held, that's when they put them in uniforms. If you stay for the Maricopa one, which should be starting in about 32 minutes, you'll see the difference. They're the same state but different counties. And hey, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. And yes, Red Fox, it is live. We're coming to you live and direct from Arizona, Pima County.
Hello, can I get your name?
Matthews.
What up, Cha Cha? Angelica, thank you for the likes. Highly appreciated. .206, welcome. Hey, and thank you for the.
All right, sir,
follow,
we're
darling.
seeing you this evening on a few different cases. It looks like you have some new felony charges. It also looks like you have a warrant that previously issued on a separate felony case. There's a warrant out of South Tucson, 2 warrants actually, and then you have 4 cases pending in Tucson City Court. So, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense, and this applies to all of your cases. You do have a right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those proceedings can happen without you. Now, if you are convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing and 90 days have gone by, you will lose your right to a direct appeal. So in your felony matter...
Is he sleeping? Yes, it is. First appearance. Thank you, Tita, for the like. Highly appreciate it. Tap, tap, tap. If you're not tapping, you must be napping.
And counsel, I'm assuming waiving reading.
Yes, Your Honor, on that specific case, please.
All right, sir. So you are in your newest felony case. I have reviewed the interim complaint, the charges, as well as the pretrial services report and the county attorney's office's recommendation. The state is recommending a $20,000 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Gant, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Judge, thank you.
Defense?
He was just.
Your Honor, Mr. Matthews wasn't available before court, so I wasn't able to speak with him regarding the circumstances in detail, but I do understand that he's currently homeless and any amount of bond is going to be a lot for him to post. So I'd ask that you set the bond at $10,000.
LEH. Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right, sir, I'm going to order that you be held in this matter on a $10,000 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that. You will be monitored by them and have to comply with any directions they give you in terms of treatment or other things. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons. If you bond out of custody, I'm also going to order that you report to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. The address will be on the form that you get from court today, and you'll have to do that within 2 working days following your release from custody. Your next court date in this matter
Hey, if you're not following, follow. You definitely don't want to miss out on these daily streams that we got going on. Up next, we're going to be having Maricopa County. If you're not tapping, you must be napping. And always remember, don't be a Scrooge McDuck.
So, sir, I just had to double check scheduling, but your preliminary hearing in this matter is going to be February the 7th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Don't be.
And if I didn't mention it, in this particular case,
Yes, I
I'm
am.
appointing the public defender's office to represent you.
She hasn't came up yet. This is Arizona. I've done Florida once.
Now, you also have a separate felony case where you were charged with burglary in the 3rd degree, burglary in the 1st degree, possession of a deadly weapon by a prohibited possessor, and possession of a dangerous drug. And once again, I've read pretrial services workup, the interim, or not the interim complaint, but the state's recommendation. Mr. Gant, I see that you're recommending a $20,000 bond, which is the amount listed in the warrant. Did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Defense?
Your Honor, for the same reason I stated earlier that he's not going to be able to afford any amount of bond, I'd ask that you set the bond in this case at $10,000.
All right, sir, I'm going to hold you on $10,000 in this case as well. That will be cash or secured. You will be supervised again by pretrial services if you are released. Those conditions that I mentioned before, you will have the same conditions in this case, along with a condition that you not have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces.
That dude's just
And
chilling.
the public defender's office is appointed to represent you in this matter as well. Now, in your South Tucson case, you've got, it looks like a warrant that was issued back in February of 2020. And I misspoke when I mentioned that you had 2 cases out of South Tucson. It looks like I was just given a couple copies of the same warrant. But the charges in that case involved allegations of shoplifting, as well as criminal trespass in the 3rd degree. In this case, sir, I'm going to appoint Michael Vaughn to represent you. Your next court date will be tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. The jail will take care of making sure you make that hearing. As conditions of your release, I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 cash bond. You are not to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, and have no contact with any alleged victims, and not go to the incident location.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least he's never 3 hots in a cot, right? Get some clean clothes.
Now,
take
in
a
your
shower.
city court matters, you have 4 open cases where you have been charged with misdemeanor criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, possession of drug paraphernalia, and a parks violation. You also have some outstanding failure to appear charges. And it looks like in these matters, you never went to your initial court appearances. So, sir, I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf as to all your city court charges.
Yeah, they're different cases. It's a bunch of different cases back to back. Hey, well, I have to give it to this guy because this guy, he broke the streak.
Your next court date, if you remain in custody, is going to be February the 7th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody, then you need to appear in Tucson City Court on March the 3rd at 9 o'clock in the morning.
He ain't getting out.
I'm going
He
to
don't wanna
appoint
get
the
out.
city public defender's office to represent you. I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond.
Might as well just make it $1 million. I don't think he has 2 cents to rub together, so he ain't going nowhere. Come on. Who are you guys kidding? You guys know what time it is.
If you are released, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. And you're not to return to any alleged incident location. Now, sir, if you are in custody,
what's
the
up,
jail will take
Toxica?
care of making sure you make all your court dates. However, if you bond out, you need to make those court dates or warrants will issue. Do you understand? All right, sir, you're excused.
I'm gonna go get him one of these because he broke the streak right here of the DVs. Hey, and for those of you that are here for that lady, she hasn't showed up yet, so stay tuned, and we're gonna find out how the court's gonna handle this. I'm definitely invested in this one. I had to be here tonight. That was mandatory. Mando. Next
Oh, let me double
on the
check.
Price is Wrong.
You said that was Abraham?
You got a little bit something on the side of your mouth. You want to clean yourself up. She looks happy. Who is she talking
Hello,
to?
ma'am. Give me 1 second. I'm just checking something here.
Yeah, picks up the hair, girl. Yeah, do your thing, girl. Do
There
your
you go.
thing.
Sorry about that. Hello, can I get your name?
Hi, my name is okay, it's Mercedes Turner.
What? Come again? Can you repeat that?
All right, Miss Turner. So we are seeing you this
Turner.
evening on some charges out of Pima County Justice Court. They are misdemeanor offenses. You've been charged with 1 count of trespassing as a class 3 misdemeanor and 1 count of shoplifting as a class 1 misdemeanor.
Target.
Ma'am, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense.
Dollar Tree. Who's Victor?
Now, ma'am, I
Target.
see that you're currently being held on a couple of other matters. It looks like you've got a pending felony case and you've got some justice court or bonds in place as well. Whatever we do tonight, my order's not going to touch those other release conditions. So what I am going to do is I'm going to order you be held on a $250 cash or secured bond. And that's so you start getting time credit in this case. I'm going to appoint Jill Gukin to represent you.
El Walmart.
And the paperwork you get from this evening's hearing will have her contact information on it.
Oh, lick your lips, girl. Oh,
Your
yeah.
next court date is going to be tomorrow, January the 29th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That will be over at Justice Court with Judge Foster, and the jail will take care of making sure you make that court date.
Hey, David, are you
If
ready?
you bond out or if you're released between now and then, you need to make sure you show in court or a warrant's going to issue. Do you understand? All right, so as conditions of your release, you are not to possess or consume any
What else?
alcohol or illegal drugs and possess no firearms or weapons. I'm also going to order that you not return to the incident location and that you not have any contact with any alleged victims.
Yeah. Welcome. What up, Tash?
All right,
And,
ma'am, that's all for this
Jessica.
evening. You're excused.
Next on The Price is Wrong. Let's see who's coming up next. And if you're here for the young lady from earlier on in the morning, she still hasn't come on, so you're here in time. And also remember, hey, whenever you guys get a chance, oh damn.
Hello, can I get your name?
Oh,
My name is Gabriel Box here.
he needs that spray, the one that you do on your head to cover up the bald spots as seen
All
on
right,
TV.
sir, we're seeing you this evening on
Yep.
some matters out of Tucson City Court.
I think it works.
Looks like you have 4 open cases and you're facing charges relating to theft or shoplifting, failure to appear, criminal trespass in the 1st degree, disorderly conduct, criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, assault, and it looks like another count of disorderly conduct. So, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You do have the right to be present at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to go to court, those hearings will happen without you, and a warrant will issue for your arrest. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction, you will lose your right to a direct appeal. I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf for these charges. I am going to order that you be held on a $250 cash bond. If you post that bond, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. You're also not to return to any of the incident locations. Now, if you are in custody, you will be transported for a video review hearing on February the 7th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody, then you need to make sure you get to Tucson City Court on February the 27th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And your hearings will be in front of Judge Cerrillo.
Hey, so for the lady.
Now, sir, if you bond out of custody and you fail to appear, once again, I just have to warn you that a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
What's up, Rihanna?
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Hey, if you're here for the deaf lady, unfortunately, we don't know the roster. So pretty much it's like what Forrest Gump says, life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So they're going to bring her out whenever they do. I'm not sure. Is this real life court right now? Hell yeah, it is. You better believe it. 100% live and direct. And if you're wondering, yes, I know it's nighttime. Yes, it's late. Yes, there's no light outside. Yes, there is court. Yes, 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 yes. Like Judge Hazel says, you get a car, you get a car, everybody gets a car. Everybody's going home today. You're free, you're free, you're free. We're all free. And if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. Doesn't cost you anything. What? Vegas runs 24/7, but I don't think they offer video. That would be lovely.
Hello, can I get your name?
Hola, ¿nos puede dar su nombre, por favor?
Jorge Arroyo Andrade.
Jorge Arroyo Andrade.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this evening on a fugitive warrant that looks like it issued
No sé.
out of Ventura County.
Está usted siendo visto por una orden de fugitivo, una orden de aprehensión de fugitivo presentada en el condado de Ventura.
Sí, eso es lo que me dijeron.
Yes, that's what I was told.
All right, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Señor, tiene el derecho a permanecer en silencio. Cualquier cosa que usted diga pudiera ser usado en su contra.
You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Legal Defender's Office to represent you.
Yes, I am, Frank.
También tiene usted derecho de obtener un abogado y le voy a nombrar a un abogado de los abogados defensores para que lo representen a usted.
There is an attorney seated next to you if you need any assistance during our hearing tonight.
Tiene usted una abogada sentada enseguida de usted si necesita asistencia esta noche.
And it also looks like you have an ICE hold in place.
Y también parece ser que tiene una detención de inmigración.
You ain't going nowhere, Pedro.
Now, I've reviewed the information contained in the warrant, and I see that the state is recommending a no bond.
Estoy repasando la información de la orden de aprehensión y parece ser que el Estado está recomendando que no haya fianza.
State, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor.
Que quisiera ser escuchado por parte de la Fiscalía, no su señoría.
Defense counsel?
Your Honor, I would request that we set a review hearing on the warrant.
Su señoría, sí pediríamos que hubiera una audiencia de revisión para la orden de aprehensión.
All right, sir, I am going to set a fugitive warrant review hearing on February the 3rd, 2025 at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Muy bien, señor. Voy a poner una audiencia por la orden de aprehensión como fugitivo que se llevará a cabo el 3 de febrero a las 2:30 de este año 2025.
I'm also going to order that you be held on a $20,000 cash or secured bond.
También voy a ordenar que sea detenido bajo una fianza de efectivo o asegurada por la cantidad de $20,000.
Judge, I'm sorry. May I be heard on that?
You may.
Objection.
133856 requires, I believe, the court to hold someone without bond when they're pending on a post-adjudicated fugitive warrant.
This fool has a ICE detainer.
La reglamentación 133856 dice que debe detener a alguien sin fianza cuando hay una orden de aprehensión adjudicada como fugitivo.
Thank you for that, counsel. I missed the part that indicated that it was a post-adjudication warrant.
Gracias, señor abogado. Me faltó, no vi donde dice aquí que no habría fianza para una orden de aprehensión post-adjudicada.
This is the judge that let that dude go, no? That had that warrant out of Nevada?
So, sir, that court date, as I mentioned, is going to remain the February 3rd, 2025 at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Señora, sí, tal y como le mencioné, esa audiencia permanecerá para el día 3 de febrero 2025 a las 2:30 de la tarde.
Do you understand, sir?
¿Entiende, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Muy bien, señor, es todo por esta noche. Se puede retirar.
Hey, if you're not tapping, you must be napping. What's up? Hook it up. Hook me up. I'm not asking for any money. I'm asking for some taps. Some taps. Next on The Price is Wrong, we have this next gentleman. What do you guys think he's here for? This is Pima County.
Good evening, sir. Can I get your name?
Buenas noches, señor.
Oh, go ahead, Madam Interpreter.
DV Ruggs.
He answered in English, Your Honor.
Sorry.
That's okay, sir. Madam Interpreter, could you inquire as to whether he needs your services?
Yes, of course.
What?
Señor Hans, ¿necesita intérprete de español o habla usted inglés?
¿Qué?
Pues también hablo inglés, pero está bien así, en español para entender más.
Ok, entonces necesita hablar español y le voy a estar interpretando. No me puede interrumpir. Muy bien.
Okay.
Your Honor, he says he speaks both languages but prefers in Spanish.
Okay, so if you're able to assist, Madam Interpreter, let's go ahead with your services. If you could just clarify that.
Yes.
Thank you, Jessica.
Vamos a proseguir con el intérprete.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this evening on some new misdemeanor charges involving allegations of assault and endangerment. Those are alleged to be domestic violence offenses.
Está usted aquí por delitos menores que le acusan de agresión y poner en peligro. Ambos son cargos de violencia doméstica.
Sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Señor, tiene el derecho a permanecer en silencio. Cualquier cosa que diga pudiera ser usado en su contra.
You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense.
Tiene el derecho a tener un abogado, pero no necesariamente bajo el costo del tribunal.
We're going to talk about your release conditions and your next court date this evening.
Hablaremos sobre sus condiciones de liberación y su próxima comparecencia esta noche.
It's my understanding that the victim in this case may be present on the line. Is a Miss Zoe Flynn available?
Parece ser que la víctima está presente en la línea. ¿Está presente la señorita Zoe Flynn?
Yes, I'm here.
Sí, estoy presente.
All right, Miss Flynn. And what I'm going to ask you to do is kind of speak in shorter sentences or shorter bits, since we're using the court interpreter this evening.
Señorita Flynn, le voy a pedir que hable en lapsos cortos porque estamos usando el intérprete del tribunal esta noche.
So, okay. So, ma'am, is there anything that you would like me to know while I'm figuring out release conditions for this matter?
Señorita, ¿hay algo que quisiera que yo supiera mientras que trato de ver las condiciones de liberación por este asunto?
Yes, that he has been extremely respectful since the incident and respected my boundaries in regards to our child, because we do have a child together.
Sí, que ha respetado de este incidente, ha sido muy respetuoso y ha respetado mis líneas de que no se intrometa más allá, porque sí tenemos un hijo en común.
And that I do find it necessary that we are able to stay in contact with each other, because we do share a child and he does help with her financially and in every way. He is a great dad, so it is necessary to me and for the well-being of our child for us to still be able to be in contact.
Y creo que es necesario que estemos en contacto, ya que de hecho tenemos un hijo juntos, una niña, es estupendo padre, ayuda económicamente y en lo necesario, así es que para el bienestar de nuestra hija, sí pienso yo que deba de haber contacto.
I could do that too.
All right, Mrs. Flynn. First off, thank you for being on the line this evening.
Primeramente, señorita Flynn, muchas gracias por estar en la línea.
And it sounds like you don't, I know you mentioned that it sounds like you're okay with contact. Do you have any safety concerns or
Don't
anything
do it,
like
Judge.
that?
Don't do it.
Parece ser que está bien de tener contacto. ¿Tiene usted alguna preocupación de seguridad o algo por el estilo? No, no lo tengo.
All right, Mr. Martinez, I am going to release you on your promise to appear.
Señor Martínez, lo voy a dejar salir bajo su promesa de que va a comparecer.
Your next court date is going to be February the 27th, 2025 at 10:30 in the morning.
Su próxima comparecencia será el día 22 de febrero 2025 a las 10:30.
That's my brother.
That will be at Pima County Justice Court, and it will be a DV. Oh, go ahead, Madam Interpreter.
Eso será en el Tribunal del Condado Pima. Este será el Tribunal de Justicia Pima y será en el Tribunal de Violencia Doméstica.
That will be a DV arraignment hearing in front of Judge Cornejo.
Y va a ser una lectura de cargo de violencia doméstica ante el juez Cornejo.
As conditions of your release, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs.
Como condiciones de su liberación, no deberá poseer o usar ni alcohol ni drogas ilegales.
You are not to commit any acts of domestic violence.
No deberá cometer ningún acto de violencia doméstica.
You are also not to possess any firearms or weapons.
Tampoco deberá poseer armas de fuego o ningún arma.
Now, sir, if you don't make your court date on February 27th, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Señor, si no comparece usted a su comparecencia en el tribunal el 27 de febrero, habrá una orden de aprehensión. ¿Entiende usted?
Sí, juez.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused, and thank you, Ms. Flynn.
Hey, that was
Muchas
definitely
gracias, señores. Todo por esta noche. Se puede retirar.
that was definitely a curveball right there. I
Thank
wasn't
you.
expecting that. That came out
May I
of
be
nowhere. I was
excused,
like,
Your Honor?
what the
I
what?
believe so.
Hey,
Jail, do we have any other Spanish speakers?
No, Your Honor, we do not.
Thank you, Madam Interpreter, for being online. You're excused.
hey, thank you,
Thank
thank
you,
you. I
Judge.
appreciate everybody that's on here today. Really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to tap, because if you're not tapping, you must be napping or lacking. Also, hey, hit the follow button. What's up? Hook me up. It's free
Hello,
99.
sir. Can I get your name?
Jamal Taylor, but they got me under Brown in Pima County, but I go by Taylor instead of Brown.
Okay. So it looks like I have your full name as Jamal Danielle Taylor Brown.
You can word it like that, Your Honor, but it's just Taylor.
All right, just Taylor. All right, sir. So, sir, we are seeing you this evening on, it looks like you have a warrant out for your arrest that was issued.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
1 second.
I'm sorry.
sir. It looks like you were charged with 2 counts of custodial interference. Those were listed as Class 6 felonies. Sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You have counsel seated beside you if you need any assistance during the hearing this evening. Now, it looks like the warrant was issued back in December of 2024. I've read the pretrial services workup. I've also seen the state's recommendation. It looks like the state's asking for a $10,000 bond, which is the amount listed in the warrant. Mr. Gant, did you wish to be heard any further?
I'm scratching my head on that.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Interference.
Defense?
Your Honor, this warrant is relatively recent. It comes from December of last year. These are Class 6 felonies, the lowest level felonies. I'd ask that you consider releasing him to pretrial services. If the court is inclined to impose a bond, I ask that it be $2,000.
$2,000. I'm still confused about this whole custodial interference. What the hell is that? Can somebody Google it?
All right, sir, I am inclined to release you to the supervision of pretrial services, but you're going to need to make sure you stay in contact with them and that you comply with any directives they issue. And you're also going to need to make sure you make a court date that I give you here in a moment. Can you do all that?
Yes, Your Honor. Could I ask a favor if I could?
You can ask
All
a
right.
question.
A question. I'm sorry. A question. I reside in Maricopa, so could I do the case in Maricopa, or I have to keep attending case here in Pima County?
You're going to have to keep coming to court hearings here in Pima County, sir, so you'll need to make sure you make arrangements for that. So you're going to have a criminal arraignment hearing on February the 4th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. Sir, can I get a current address for you?
2106 East Apache Boulevard, Tempe, Arizona, 85281. Unit number 1003.
All right, sir. The reason I asked for your address is I want to make sure our records and pretrial services records are up to date. Now, as conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. As I mentioned, you're going to need to comply with whatever directives pretrial services gives you. You're not to possess any firearms or weapons, not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. And your next court date, as I mentioned, is going to be February the 4th at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you don't make that hearing, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for this evening, sir. You're excused.
And I know a lot of you guys are invested for that one lady that's deaf and blind or partially blind. Trim that stash. Never. She hasn't came up yet, so we're still waiting for her. I think this lady was on earlier on too. That's coming up with the wheelchair, I believe, if I'm not mistaken her identity. Or is that a guy? Is that a woman? I can't tell.
It's her.
She was here earlier on, right? Yeah, she's the one that said she was young.
Hello, can I get your name?
Doña Garcia Diaz.
Yeah, that's her, Doña.
All right, ma'am, we're seeing you this evening on some new felony charges. It looks like you've been charged with 1 count of armed robbery and 1 count of burglary in the 2nd degree. This is your initial appearance. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. You have counsel seated beside you if you have any questions during our hearing this evening. Now, I've reviewed the interim complaint, the pretrial services workup, as well as the state's recommendation. The state is requesting a $40,000 bond plus pretrial services. Did you wish to be heard any further?
Yes.
No, I'll submit on my written recommendation. Thank you.
1 second, ma'am. So, Ms. Diaz, I'm going to ask you if you have any questions or you want to say anything, speak to the attorney next to you. I don't want you to say something about your case, about what happened that may hurt you. Do you understand?
Hey, so that's a trip. Imagine you get robbed by somebody in a wheelchair. How are you going to tell people, hey, like this lady in a wheelchair just came up to me and I broke myself. She said, break yourself. She took all your belongings. It's a crazy world out there. You just never know. I'm robbery in a wheelchair. Oh, Chris. Hey, I'm gonna have to give her a 5-star rating on the GTO rating system right here. 5 stars because she was definitely with it. She wasn't playing around. She was pulling out all the stops. Y vámonos. Robbery on wheels. No.
We're ready, Your Honor.
Do you wish to be heard, Madam Counsel?
GTL, Grand Theft.
Yes, Your Honor. She's a lifelong resident of Tucson, and she has ties to the community. She has housing right now. She's also disabled, which is going to make it more difficult for her to be in jail than the average person. And I see you set the bond at $15,000.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to order that you be held on a $25,000 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that bond, and you'll have to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons. You're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. Your next court date is February the 7th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody, you need to make sure you come to court on that date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand? Ma'am, do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, that's all for this evening, ma'am. You're excused.
Your Honor, was the public defender appointed? I'm sure you said it. I just didn't catch it.
I may have missed it, but yes, the public defender's
Wrong
office
button.
is appointed.
Thank you. Yes.
Next up on the
25.
Price is Wrong. I'm waiting for that lady, man. I know a lot of you guys are here for her. So hopefully, I'm hoping she might be next. Hopefully. Bring her in. Come on, man. What's up? Is that her? No, that's not her. Oh, be careful there. Are you okay? Damn, almost fell off the chair.
Hello, can I get your name? All right, ma'am, we're seeing you this evening on a few different matters. It looks like you have 5 cases pending in Tucson City Court. It looks like you also have a warrant that was issued, let me double check here, out of Santa Cruz County. So, ma'am, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
She's detoxing. All over America. Yeah. It's sad out there. It's a sad world. Hey, don't pick any of that stuff up because this is going to be your life right here. Like that, smack back.
Now, I've read the pretrial services workup as well as the information listed in the warrant. Did the state have any recommendations for bond on this one?
She looked hella rough.
I'm sorry, Judge. Did she have a local case here?
See, I'm showing a warrant out of Nogales. Looks like it's...
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it looks like...
So we don't usually... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just wanted to confirm and make sure I hadn't missed a recommendation. It looks like you didn't have one for this case.
This is night court.
No, that's correct, Judge. We usually don't make recommendations on the out-of-county warrants.
Did defense wish to be heard on this one at all?
Mr. Honor, it appears that this is a personal use drug matter that she has a warrant on. I do see that there have been multiple failures to appear in some sort of a bond the court may want to impose, but I would ask that it be $500.
So, ma'am, on this case, I am going to order that you be held on a $2,500 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services. If you post that, I'm going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. If you are released from custody, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs and possess no firearms or weapons. You'll also need to comply with any directions given to you from or by pretrial services. Your next court date is going to be a review hearing on February the 28th, 2025 at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I won't be able to post a bond. I'm a homeless woman. I don't.
One moment, ma'am.
Wow.
I don't have anybody here.
All right, ma'am. I'm gonna ask you to hold on for a second. The clerks just informed me that our FTR went down.
Oh, what the? What's that?
So we're gonna restart it real quick and see if we can get back on the record.
No, the clock is out. Look at the clock, guys. The clock is blank. On TT, you guys can't see the clock, but on YT you can. YT is 1080p, high definition, full HD, like EA Sports. We're in the game. Oh man, of all the days that their thing went down, why today? We need to see that lady. I'm fully invested. We need to see this. There's almost 200 and something people on TT. There's 72 people on YT, and then we got on the other stream we got 6 people. So man, we're invested now. Not today. It went down. Don't say that, man. Anyhow, hey, so I'll go ahead and take this opportunity right now since it went down in the DM. Are there any medical or in pop? Honestly, I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. But that is a good question. Maybe somebody has been there before. If you guys could tap in, drop it in the comment, let us know if this is the regulars or the medical unit, because we got people in wheelchairs and everything showing up a todo desmadre. Anyhow, if you're not tapping, you must be napping. Go ahead and hit tap, hit that screen. What's up? Hook me up. It doesn't cost you anything. Also, if you're not following please, por favor, hit that follow button. It's free 99, doesn't cost you a thing. I'm not gonna be getting your DM, giving you a sob story about, send me some green dots or send me some flowers. Nah, I'm not gonna do none of that. I don't care about that stuff. But what I do care about is you guys following and helping me grow this channel. It's free 99, doesn't cost you anything. If you don't hit that follow, you're a Mr. Krabby Patty or a Mrs. Krabby Patty, or you might be a Scrooge McDuck for all I know. If you don't hit that follow, it's like you're stealing something that I'm putting out for free 99. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no subscriptions over here. FYP, that's right, Nicole. We're trying to hit that FYP. I see we're at 68,000. Tap. Remember, if you guys put any workman comp cases on me, I'm gonna have to deny all of them. I can't be held responsible for that. You're gonna have to take it up with the state of Arizona, preferably Maricopa. Maricopa is live, but we can't move from here because we're waiting for that lady. Let's get to 100K taps. I think it's just everyone's initial appearance. They gotta see the judge. Yeah, that is correct. Okay, they're back. We're back like EA Sports. It's in the game.
Gotcha. All right, so counsel for defense in the state, we're not exactly sure when the FTR went off, so I'm going to summarize what we just talked about, basically just so we have it preserved on the record. So I heard recommendations from the defense, and I have considered the pretrial services workup as well as the information contained in the warrant. I did appoint the legal defender's office to represent the defendant. There is a review hearing that is set for February the 28th at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I imposed a $2,500 cash or secured bond with pretrial services supervision and conditions that there be no possession of alcohol or illegal drugs and no possession of firearms or weapons as to that case. Now, in your city court matters, ma'am, it looks like you have 5 open cases where you have been charged with criminal trespass in the 1st degree, criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, possession of drug paraphernalia. It looks like narcotics possession, also a driving under the influence and a driving under the influence with a BAC of 0.08 or more. In addition to the rights I mentioned before, ma'am, you also have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to show, then warrants will issue for your arrest. Those hearings will go forward without you. If you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, then you will also lose your right to a direct appeal.
Somebody throw some water on her.
Now, in this matter,
or some
I am going to order that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond.
Yeah.
As conditions of your release, you are not to drive without a valid license, possess or consume no alcoholic beverages, no contact with any listed victims, their residences or their workplaces, and do not return to any incident locations. I am going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you in the city court matters. Your next court date will be February the 7th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon, and that's if you're in custody. It will be a video review hearing. If you are released, then you need to make sure you get to Tucson City Court on February the 28th, 2025 at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you don't show to court, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so, ma'am, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Damn, son.
Thank you.
Next, man. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers over here for that lady. They better bring her up. That's not her. Damn.
Hello, can I get your name?
Looking like sideshow.
McCollum, maybe.
Looking like sideshow.
All right, sir, we are seeing you this evening on some new felony charges involving allegations of resisting arrest and domestic violence, kidnapping. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. I have read the interim complaint, the pretrial services workup, as well as the state's recommendation regarding release. It looks like the state is asking for a $25,000 bond plus pretrial services. State, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor. Refer the court to the fact that the complaint. They could know that also been
defense?
Your Honor, he has no prior felony convictions. He's a 1 on the FTA and the NCA scale, so he is low risk. He has his brother who can provide transportation to court dates. According to the pretrial services report, the victim didn't object to his release. If the court is not inclined to release him, I'd ask that the bond be set at $5,000.
All right, sir, I do see that you scored pretty low on the scales used by pretrial services.
Low scale. What kind
And
of
while the
scale do they
charges
got?
are concerning, I am considering those in light of your history. So, sir, I am going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. There are going to be some conditions that you need to abide by. You will be monitored by pretrial services. If they give you any kind of directives in terms of treatment or anything else, you need to go ahead and comply with it. You are not to commit any acts of domestic violence, and you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're also not to possess any firearms or weapons. I'm going to order that you not have any contact with the victim in this case, Yoselin Diaz. You're also not to have any contact with her workplace or her residence. That starts now, and no contact means exactly that. No contact in any way, shape, or form. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, sir. So your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing, and that will be on February the 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, that date may change, so you need to stay in contact with your public defender, and you also need to stay in contact with pretrial services. If I didn't mention it before, the public defender's office is appointed to represent you. If you don't come to court, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Damn, that's crazy. Like, what the what? Hey, if I ever start committing crimes, Pima County, here I come. That's where I'll be committing them right there. Slap on the wrist. Let me out on OR or pre-trial. Like crazy. Hey, if you guys live in Pima County, good luck to you, my people.
Well, have a seat.
Hey, you're from Barbie. You're from Pima County too.
Hello. Hello. Can I get your name?
Manuel Retana, Retana,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maricopa's in
Give
Arizona.
me 1 second, sir. I just need to make sure I have your file.
Hold up. Hey, they're busy today, man. We're going on some OT today.
All right, sir, we are seeing you this evening on a warrant that was issued in a Pima County felony case, looks like from December of 2024, where you were charged with burglary in the 3rd degree, burglary in the 2nd degree, as well as theft. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. I have read the pretrial services workup, as well as the state's recommendation, and I have seen the warrant, and it looks like the amount listed in the warrant is a $5,000 bond, which is the amount the state is requesting. Did the state wish to be heard any further?
Judge, thank you.
A defense?
I don't think so.
Your Honor, he's a 2 on the FTA scale, so he doesn't have a significant failure to appear history. He lived in Tucson for 8 months and is established here. He's also lived in Arizona for his whole life and has ties to the state. He's currently employed. Pretrial services called his partner, who said that she can provide housing and transportation to court. I'd ask you to set the bond at $2,000.
All right, sir, I am going to order that you be held on a $2,500 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs and possess no firearms or weapons. You're also not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. Your next court date is going to be an arraignment hearing on February the 4th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody, you need to make sure you make that court hearing or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Thank you.
Hey, for those of you guys that are tapping, you guys should invest in one of those little mechanisms that you just put on the screen and it taps for you. They're only like $3-4 on AliExpress.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Takes like a month to get here, but very worth it. You just put it onto the screen to your phone, and then you plug that into a USB connection, and bam, it'll be tapping away nonstop, turbo tapping, if you will.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Jesus
auto tapper.
Ramos.
All right, sir. We're seeing you this evening on, it looks like, some new felony charges involving allegations of domestic violence, aggravated assault. You also have a pending city court matter where you have been charged with obstruction, reckless burning, and possession of drug paraphernalia. So, sir, in your felony case, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. This is your initial appearance, and we're going to look at your release conditions and your next court date. Now, I've read the state's recommendation as well as the interim complaint and the pretrial services workup. The state is recommending a $35,000 bond. State wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
And I also see that it looks like you are being held on a probation hold with regards to another felony matter. Defense, did you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. He's a lifelong resident of Tucson, and he has ties to the community. His family is here, and he supports a child who's under 18. He's connected with COPE, IOP, for behavioral health and substance abuse services. So I would ask you set the bond at $10,000.
All right, sir, I'm going to order that you be held on a $10,000 cash or secured bond. You will have to be supervised by pretrial services if you post that, and you'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to commit any acts of domestic violence, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons. I'm also going to order that you not have any contact with Carmelo Ramos or his residence or workplace. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on February the 7th at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you are released from custody, you need to make sure you make that court date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Now, you also have a city court matter.
City court.
And as I mentioned, those are misdemeanor charges involving reckless burning, obstruction, and paraphernalia possession.
Maybe Elizabeth, maybe. Elizabeth writes, if she's not in jail, she's probably in the mental hospital and just wrote.
In addition to the rights I mentioned to you before, sir, you also have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to show for court, those hearings can go forward without you, and a warrant will issue for your arrest. In addition, if you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction because of your failure to appear, you will lose your right to a direct appeal. I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf for the listed charge.
What do you guys think happened to the deaf lady? Do you think she's going to come up, or did they let her out into a mental institution, or did they have a hearing?
I'm going to order that you be held on a $250
No,
cash or secured bond. As conditions of your release, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're also not to have any contact with any alleged victims, and you're not to return to the incident location. I'm going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your next court date, if you are in custody, will be a video review hearing on February the 7th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you are released from custody, then you need to make sure you are at City Court on February the 27th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, mandatory.
And your cases will be heard in front of Judge Cerrijo. You'll get paperwork for both of your court cases after tonight's hearing. And just like I mentioned in the other case, sir, if you are released and if you fail to show for court in your city court matters, a warrant will issue. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, sir, that's all. You're excused.
All right, next on The Price is Wrong. Man, this is like being at the end of the line of a Disneyland ride.
Your Honor, sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
The card provider is at the front desk lobby.
Okay.
The who?
And she just needs to be let in.
Okay.
Interpreter,
is that an order you need from me, or?
She will be providing card services for Leslie Broderick.
Is that the lady?
Gotcha. And is that the one that we're trying to move towards the end?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for the update.
Is that her name? Leslie?
Thank you.
Let me. I'm gonna hit back the video to check.
Hello,
her name.
ma'am. Can I get your full name?
Hey, David, are you here?
Jacqueline Rivera.
All
All
right.
right, ma'am, we're seeing you this evening because you have a couple of you have a felony matter where you've been charged with burglary in the second degree as well as impersonating a peace officer. And it looks like you also have a matter out of Pima County Justice Court.
I'm sorry, what were the charges?
In your felony case, burglary in the second degree and impersonating a peace officer. And in your justice court matter, you've got a misdemeanor charge of criminal damage. So, ma'am, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. And I'm appointing in your felony case the legal defender's office. Oh, give me 1 second. I have the wrong file here.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Wait, what? What? I didn't do that.
I'm appointing the legal defender's office to represent you. Now, I've read the pretrial services workup, and I have read the interim complaint. The state is recommending a $50,000 bond with pretrial services. Did the state wish to be heard any further?
Is the court familiar with the interim complaint? The behavior here is rather bizarre and concerning to the state, particularly the fact that she's impersonating a police officer, which presents pretty strong concern to the safety of the community. So based on that, as well as her prior history here, she's a 5 on the NCA scale and a 6 on the failure to appear scale. It just seems there's a lot of risk with her, and I'm concerned about the safety of members of the community. So we are asking for a $50,000 bond.
Just, Your Honor, I was high though. I don't remember. I have no recollection
if you're
of this.
speaking, I think you might be on mute.
Apologies, Your Honor. She has lived in Tucson for 37 years and has ties to the community. Pretrial services spoke to her sister, who indicated she can provide transportation support for Ms. Rivera. I'd ask you set the bond in this case at $20,000.
She was about to let her go on pre-trial services.
All right, ma'am, I am going to order that you be held on a $25,000 cash or secured bond. Pretrial services will supervise you if you are released, and you'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, do not have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. Your next court date will be a preliminary hearing on February the 7th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon.
She ain't going nowhere.
Now, in your justice court matter, it looks like a warrant was issued for your arrest back in August of 2024 by Judge Steele. The warrant lists a bond amount of...
Are you sure this is still my name, Your Honor? Because I have...
Did she turn
So, ma'am, I am showing a warrant with the name of Jacqueline Rivera.
She turned off the microphone.
With a date of birth in 1987. So, ma'am, in this case, I am going to order that you be held on the $500 cash or secured bond that's listed in the warrant. Your next court date will be tomorrow, January 29th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're still in custody, the jail will take care of making sure you get to court. Now, as conditions of your release in this case, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. And I'm going to appoint...
But who's going to take care of her pet snake if she's in there? Or
Jill
the baby
Buchan
kitties?
to represent you in this case. And you will get paperwork that has her contact information. Now, ma'am, if you are released from custody in both your matters, you need to make sure that you make any scheduled court dates. If you fail to make your court hearings, then warrants will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Hey, I was calling you, David. Needed you here ASAP.
I think you're muted, ma'am. Do you understand?
No.
All right, ma'am. You're excused.
Oh, this way.
Price is wrong here. Next.
Good evening, Your Honor.
Hello, can I get your name?
Avery Sanchez.
All right, sir, we are seeing you this evening on, it looks like a couple of different matters. You have a warrant out of Marana Municipal Court for misdemeanor charges of failure to appear, as well as driving on a suspended license. It looks like that warrant was issued in September of 2024.
Yes, ma'am.
You also have a felony case.
Damn, this judge, she reads too slow for me. Pick up the pace over here. You gotta, you get a warrant, you get a warrant, you get a warrant. We all
You
get
also have a
warrants.
felony case where it looks like you were charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. And in your felony case, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I've read the pretrial services workup as well as the state's recommendation. I see that the state is requesting a $100,000 bond. Did the state wish to be heard any further?
Yes, Judge. I'd like to inform the court of some of the facts that I see in our summary. I understand I'm asking for a bond that is a lot higher than what the warrant lists, but I'm not sure what facts they included in that and what they knew at the time the bond amount was issued, but I am asking for $100,000. The facts that I have say that this defendant arrived to his on-again, off-again girlfriend's house with little notice with 2 AR-15 style rifles. Essentially with her 10-year-old in the house, although he didn't witness it, but it was in another room in the house. This defendant placed those rifles to the victim's head and assaulted her with the rifles and said some really horrible things to her that I'm not going to say on here, but things that are accusatory of her. He then forced her to drive him to Phoenix, where they forced her to withdraw $8,000 from an ATM to buy him a vehicle. She went into the bank and told the teller about what was happening to her. Obviously, this conduct is very concerning. I have concerns about the further safety to the victim. So for those reasons, we are asking the court to impose a $100,000 bond.
Defense?
Your Honor, he's a lifelong resident of Arizona, and he has ties to the state. He's currently employed and connected with services. I'd ask you to set the bond at $25,000.
And thank you.
Yes, it is. This is Tucson, Pima County. Proceed with caution.
All right, sir, I am going to order that you be held on a $100,000 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services. If you post that, you are also going to have to comply with any monitoring or treatment directives that they issue. You are not to commit any acts of domestic violence, possess and consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons. You are to have no contact with any alleged victim, their residences, or their workplaces. Your next court date in this felony case is going to be an arraignment hearing on February the 4th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. And that will be over at Superior Court. If you're still in custody on that date, then the jail will take care of making sure that you make that court appearance. No. Now, in your Marana case...
Man, he had 2 choppers on him. He had 2 AKs.
The warrant that was issued there lists an amount of $350. I am going to order that you be held on that. As conditions of your release in that case, you are not to drive without a valid license and possess and consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Your next court date there will be tomorrow, the 29th at 12 p.m.
That's right, Ollie. Yeah, 2 ARs. Did I say 2 AKs?
And I'm going to appoint Anna Dennis to represent you in that Marana case. So you'll get some paperwork from the hearing that we're having right now with her contact information. Whoever has the radio going close to the mic, could you mute it?
Yeah,
thanks.
mute it.
So, sir, you will get a paperwork that has Ms. Dennis's contact information so you can get a hold of her.
What was the bond amount on the felony?
$100,000, cash or secured.
Damn.
Thank you.
100,000.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
But the card provider, I think, is still outside the jail building.
Nah, they can't hear us.
Understood. Thank you for the update.
We're not directly on the Teams meeting or the Zoom meeting. Man, shit, if they could hear us, they'll have me in contempt of court real quick. You'd be getting that place lit up. He could get out for 10 racks. That is true. Hey, what's up, Betty? How's it going? Welcome. If you're not tapping, you must be napping. What's up? Hook it up. And if you're not following, you're a Mr. Krabby Patty or a Scrooge McDuck. Is this live? Yes, it is live and direct. We're coming to you live and direct from Pima County, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. He had he had two pews, the chopper type. Took somebody down to the bank. Next.
Hello, can I get your name?
Destiny Stevenson.
All right. Are you able to hear me? I'm getting a lot of crosstalk in the background.
Yes.
Hey, folks at the jail, can you keep it down just a little bit so I can hear? Thanks.
Sorry, we're having a bit of emergency at the moment, so we'll work as fast as we can, okay?
Understood.
Radio.
All right, ma'am. So we're seeing you because you've been picked up on a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court where you were charged with a Class 6 felony of unlawful means of transportation. Looks like it's listed as you being a passenger in the car. So, ma'am, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Legal Defender's Office to represent you in this matter.
Thank you.
On Pacific
So we're
Standard
going to
Zone.
talk about your release conditions and your next court date. Now, I've read the pretrial services workup. I've read the information contained in the warrant, as well as the state's recommendation. State, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, thank you, Judge.
Defense?
Your Honor, it appears that the warrant is relatively recent. She has no prior felony convictions. She's only 20 years old, so she's young. She's lived in Arizona for her whole life. Her mom can drive her to court, transportation. Her mom can provide her with transportation to court. That was previously the issue, with showing up to her court date. She also currently has been accepted into a treatment program, and her plan, if released tonight, would be to go to that treatment program. So I would ask the court to give her another chance and release her to pretrial services.
Thank you.
All right, ma'am. So I am looking at your pretrial.
What? The audio went out. She better not mess up, man. It got frozen. It's not moving. Ay. Hopefully it comes back up. They need to get that FTA work, or that FTR. It was the FTR, right? That was tripping earlier on. It's all bad. Send her for damn.
Trial services report, and the concern I have is that when you arrive at 1:30 in the afternoon, if you bond out of custody, you need to make that court hearing or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
All right, hey, don't mess up on us now. We're too invested. We got 310 on TT. We got 76 on YT, and then on the other TT, we got 7. Highly appreciate you guys for hanging in there. If you guys want to have more interaction, I would suggest for you guys to jump over to the other account, which is at CollectCallFrom, at CollectCallFrom. And we like I said, we got over like we're averaging about 300. Let me, she's getting out. Yup. Hey, Brian Lopez, gracias for the follow. You're definitely not a Krabby Patty or a Scrooge McDuck, but everybody else that is watching, you guys are Krabby Patties and Scrooge McDucks.
Thank you.
And she's out of here. All right. Follow. Hey, thank you, DLP. Gracias. Highly appreciate it. Next. Oh, he's in orange. Orange is the new black.
Hello, can I get your name?
Oh,
Aaron Flores.
Thanks. All right, sir. We are seeing you. Excuse me. We are seeing
ma'am.
you on some cases out of Tucson City Court. It looks like you have some new charges involving allegations of domestic violence, disorderly conduct.
Oops. I was trying to type it in
And it
snow.
looks like you also have some cases that are pending in Tucson City Court with Judge Million. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. Now, you do have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to show in court, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings will go forward without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction date because of your failure to appear, then you will lose your right to a direct appeal. I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf for the new charges in this case. I'm also going to give you a court date of February the 12th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you're in custody, the jail will take care of making sure you're able to attend court via video. If you're out of custody, you need to go see Judge Million at Tucson City Court. Now, it looks like you already have some other cases that are set for that same day, so we're just going to lump everything together. Now, sir, I am going to order that you be held on a $1,500 cash or secured bond. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons. I'm going to order that you not have any contact with the listed victim in this case, that's Zaylana Barcelo, and you're not to have any contact with her residence or her workplace. And if I didn't mention it before, the City Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Now, sir, if you bond out of custody, you need to make sure you make that court date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Right, sir, you're excused.
Thank you.
Wow. Drop one, flush one. You know how we do it around here. Hey, if you're on white tee, hey, what's up? Why do we only have 17 likes and we got 73 people? What's up, man? Don't be shysty with that. Oh, that's her. She's back. Why is she in orange?
Hello, can I get your name?
Your Honor, we need the cart interpreter for this one.
Oh, understood.
For this one. What do you mean by this one? What was that supposed to mean?
My ID, badge.
We have to do one of these. Show! We've been waiting for you all night. Where you been at?
In jail, do we have, we're still waiting for the cart interpreter, is that correct?
Well, can you back up a little bit? Your forehead's about to hit me.
I believe so. To our knowledge, she speaks and hears and sees perfectly fine.
All right, well, let's just...
Camera in the room, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to wait for a second.
It is.
So,
this is
jail
Arizona.
staff, while we're waiting for the cart interpreter, do we have other matters that we can go forward on?
Yeah, they were there.
Yeah, we do.
I'm sitting in the room at least one. Your dad and you?
All right, let's go ahead and move on to one of the others, and we'll come back.
Make sure on the badge, make sure same for them.
We don't know what she did. We've been waiting all day to figure it out.
Parents not.
Damn.
Oh, can I get your name?
Arthur Luis Cardenas.
All right, Mr. Cardenas, we are seeing you this evening on some new felony charges involving allegations of fraudulent use of a credit card and taking the identity of another. Sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Now, I've read the interim complaint as well as the pretrial services workup, and I've seen the state's recommendation. I see that the state is recommending pretrial services release. I am a bit concerned given how high Mr. Cardenas scored on the FTA scale. State, did you wish to be heard any further?
Thank you.
Defense?
Your Honor, I didn't have much information available about Mr. Cardenas. He does have an address in Sayurita that has history in Tucson going back to 2014. I would ask that you follow the state's recommendation and release him to pretrial services. If the court's inclined to impose a bond, I'd ask that it be $1,000.
Man, we're on OT right now, man. We're supposed to be on Maricopa, but we're so invested in this one that we
All right,
couldn't
sir,
leave.
I am going to order that you be held on a $2,000 cash or secured bond. You did score pretty high on the FTA scale, and I'm also seeing it looks like you have a history of probation and parole revocations. So that $2,000 will be cash or secured. You will be supervised by pretrial services. If you post that, you'll have to comply with any
Ah, not again, man. What's up? First they take her away. What the what? Hey, I don't know what just happened. I think it's a conspiracy. No sé. Damn, what's up with the FTR over here? It froze again. No, man, they keep on messing with us. There's like they're dangling a carrot in front of our face. There's like 400. There's at least 400 right now of us invested on this case right now. Why are they doing this to us? It froze. I don't know. It froze. You know, earlier on their whole system went down, and it went back. It went back 6 minutes or 4 minutes because I'm looking at the clock. It says 8:36 on their clock. So we just hang out around here and see what it is, what happens. But we could go ahead and take that opportunity for you to tap that screen and also hit that follow button. So like, because nothing's going on right now. So that's what we could do. Help me out. What's up?
be
It's back on.
supervised by
We're back on.
pretrial services.
on?
If you post that, you'll have to comply with any
Ah, nah. It says that it's live. Let's see. Oh, she's on. We're back on. We're back in the game. Let me put you on the screen right here. Bam. Oh, yes. I could eat now.
Your Honor, she says that Arizona Complete Health is her provider, and she's on Access. I don't know if that's the actual provider.
It's spelled AHCCCS. Capital A. Someone looking for some markets. Going to process auto food.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
I'm also going to order that you complete a behavioral health assessment with a licensed provider. Your next court date will be February the 7th at 1:30. That will be for a preliminary hearing. You also have a case out of Green Valley Justice Court where you have been charged with failure to appear and disorderly conduct, domestic violence.
Ooh. What?
In that case, I am going to appoint Janet Altschuler as your attorney. And I will include her contact number on the paperwork that I'm completing for this hearing. I'm going to order that you be held on a $100 cash or secured bond in that case. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons, have no contact with the listed victim, their residence or their workplace. Your next hearing in your Green Valley case will be February 6th at 8:30 in the morning. If you are out of custody, you need to go to court or a warrant will issue. All right, that's all for this evening, ma'am. You're excused.
That's pretty messed up. We didn't get to see all of it. Man.
Thank you, Madam Interpreter.
At least we caught part of it. It's all bad.